I love you, I love you. I love you, Lord, today because you cared for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you and I lift you up and I magnify your name. Your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. I love you, Lord. And I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear, in your ear. And I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Oh, glory be unto God Most High, beloved. Peace and blessings be unto you. We begin in the name of God, the compassionate and the merciful. All praises be unto the Most High God, the Lord of all creation, the compassionate and the merciful master of the day of judgment. It is you who we worship. It is from you that we get our help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those whom you have blessed, not those who have incurred your wrath or those who have been led astray. Peace and blessings, beloved. I hope you're doing well. Well, family, we are continuing our series on becoming Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness. Now, I wanted to read to you something that I found on online, and it did a very good job of kind of breaking down what Christ consciousness is. Christ consciousness. Christ is a cosmic force, an energy and intelligence that radiates in everything. In any religion, no matter what the name, no matter the country or the tradition, the primary concern of that religion is Christ. Even if that religion doesn't use that word. The word Christ is derived from the Greek term Christos, which we talked about in past videos, which means the anointed one. The word Christ is a title. It is a cosmic force. It is an energy, a radiation, a vibration, a sound. Ancient scriptures state that in the beginning, God sounded. If you study the creation mythologies of any religion, you will always find that in the first instances, in the first moments, what emerged was a vibration, energy, a force, a light, a sound. That is Christ. That force is beyond any name, beyond any concept, beyond any thought, beyond any title, beyond any belief. It is something incomprehensible, immeasurable, and eternal. Everything that we are, everything that we experience, everything that we can't ever imagine or perceive is merely a derivative of Christ. This is how all-encompassing and overpowering this energy is. Absolutely everything in existence is merely a derivative of Christ. So when we talk about Christ, we are not talking about a man. We are not even talking about God. We are talking about a force, a cosmic ray, a living, vibrating, resounding energy. There are many names for this energy that emerges out of the nothingness. In Kabbalah, it is called the Ayin Safor. Some Western traditions have called it the ray of creation. The ancient Native Americans, the Aztec, and Maya had many names for this ray of light, but the most famous is I'm just going to spell it, the Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl. Anyway, the Christians call it Yeshua, Christ, the Son. In the East, there are thousands of names for this energy, okay? These names all refer to the same primordial energy, which is at the very heart and soul and purpose and meaning of religion. This is very important to understand because we have inherited from our different cultures and traditions different mistaken concepts about religion, especially about Christ. People nowadays have limited the term Christ to a person. This is wrong. They have limited the term Christ to God, and this is also wrong. They have limited the term Christ to one religion, and this is wrong. The force of Christ is universal, but religion is not. Religions are born, grow, sustain, and die. Religions belong to time. They belong to a particular place and a particular time. That is, religions have a narrow focus on a particular psychology. They all come from one universal primordial religion. This is cosmic and eternal, and is the worship and science of Christ. I am not referring to a modern system or belief, but to the ultimate primordial science, which is beyond anything that we can conceive of, write down, or put in a book. Christ is beyond all that. In every atom of your body is the fire of life, and that is Christ. The energy that gives you the capacity to think is Christ. The energy that gives you the power to see, to feel, to think, to receive, to experience is Christ. The energy in the sun, the energy that spins the earth, the energy that forms a butterfly, the energy that allows the clouds to float in the sky is Christ. When you think of Christ, do not limit your thought to one man who lived 2,000 years ago. Do not limit your thought to a stature, a scripture, a quote, a concept, or an idea of what is Christ. Instead, open your eyes and look around you. Look within you. That is where you will find Christ. Christ is in your breath, in the pumping of your heart, in the sensations which reach all of your senses in every moment. There is a transformation of energy happening right now. That is Christ. The true yogi and true aspirant, the true practitioner, does not think of Christ as an idea, a concept, something that is limited to the mind. The true devotee of Christ looks for Christ in every instant, in every face, in every eye, in every word, in every image, in every animal, in every plant. The true devotee of Christ is always seeking to perceive and witness that energy in action in the universe as we speak. That is how you find Christ. Right now, in your breath, through your eyes, through your ears, through your touch, through your taste, through your smell, Christ is there in everything without limitation. Everything that exists is a manifestation of the Christ consciousness. Everything vibrates with this energy. I wanted to start with that. I know that was long, but I wanted to start with that because, again, we are building on the understanding that Christ is beyond I hate to say it, I can't say it no other way, the idolatry of worshiping a man. The consciousness of Christ is more of an abstract concept. This is what I am teaching. That we are Christ. That we all have this power within us to manifest the kingdom of God in the earth. This was Yeshua's whole message. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. What is the kingdom of heaven? Righteousness, peace, and joy. We have this power, beloved, to manifest this. So let's talk about unconditional love. Unconditional love. I was watching the movie Inception. It's that 2010 movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Some of you may be familiar with it. And I was watching it on the plane on the way back from Houston. And in the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio, he talks about that the greatest parasite known to man is not a virus, but an idea. Once an idea takes hold in the mind, it sticks, it grows, and then it goes to another mind to influence it. The most powerful thing that we can have is an idea. From ideas are birthed everything that we know. You okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when we think about an idea, in the movie, it talks about how they use dreaming to incept. To incept, hence the name of the movie, means to start, initiate, or to place a thing. So they believe that they could incept an idea through the subconscious through shared dreaming. And furthermore, they believe that the deeper you went into someone's subconscious, you had to incept an idea based on the smallest, simplest form of that idea. Furthermore, you had to create an idea that they had a positive emotional connection to. Hey, how you doing, Shadia? Listen, so they had to create an idea that had a emotional connection to it. They said that in our subconscious, we hold on to ideas in our subconscious that we have strong emotional connections to. All right. And in particularly, the more positive the emotional connection, the more likely we are to revisit that same idea. Okay. So they also said this, that in making it simplest at its simplest form, then we think that we were the authors of the idea and not an external force. Okay? And this, I couldn't help but think about how this has happened in the world that we live in today. How many ideas have been incepted into our subconscious that influence how we act, how we interact with each other, how we view ourselves. Because, you know, the authors of this matrix that we're in, they understand us. And that was another thing in the movie. In the movie, they learned everything that they could learn about the subject that they were going to incept an idea into. They studied them, their childhood, their likes, their dislikes, their family. They studied everything that they could understand about that person. And in order for them to manipulate us, they know us. They know our people. They know where we come from. They know what we believe. And the best way to influence a people and to deceive a people is to wrap deception in truth. Unconditional love. Beloved, I will posit to you this. I don't think a lot of us walk in our unconditional love. I think a lot of us put conditions on love. And this is not really the consciousness of God. When I read to you about the Christ consciousness, love was here at the beginning. Love is eternal. Love has always existed. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was made flesh. What is this Word? This Word is unconditional love. This is what Christ represents. Christ represents the consciousness of unconditional love. All right? We got so caught up on deifying Christ that we missed the consciousness that he was trying to relay. Lord, I done knocked my glasses off. That we missed the message that he was trying to relay. We all carry this power within us to be in oneness with unconditional love. All right? Love without conditions. Because love exists by itself without anything else attached to it. The consciousness of love is just, it's always here. Even if you're vibrating in hate and jealousy and sadness, the consciousness of love is always there. You're just vibrating beneath it. It's the ability to operate in unconditional love is always presently present, beloved. Okay? And so when we talk about unconditional love, let's think about, God had given me this. He said, love is not dependent on conditions. Marriage is a condition that requires love in order for it to exist, not the other way around. Because you can move forward in divorce and not hate the person, right? Right? But marriage cannot exist without the consciousness of love, all right? Marriage requires love in order for it to be alive. But even if marriage falls apart, love still exists. The condition of love still exists. I've seen people break up and be healthy co-parents with their children. There's still a love. Intimacy does not require intimacy requires love. True intimacy requires love. Okay? But I can love you and not be intimate with you. Because love, the consciousness of love, is unconditional, beloved. It does not require conditions in order for it to exist. A parent-child relationship requires love in order for it to exist. A parent-caregiver-child relationship is a condition that requires love in order for it to be alive, to be healthy. However, love can exist even if the parent-child relationship is dissolved. I have seen people forgive toxic parents. I have seen people walk in love and patience and grace with parents that abuse them. And see, and this is why people attach themselves so heavily to Christianity, because what it is a story of unconditional love. The Christ story, crucifixion for your sins, it relays an understanding of unconditional love. That someone who is undeserving of punishment takes on a punishment through an act of love. And this is why the attachment to it is so strong, because through this religion, you adopt the consciousness of unconditional love, and it saves you. It brings you back from a dark place, because unconditional love has that power. This is truth. This is truth, beloved. Unconditional love has the power to make you forgive people that hurt you. Unconditional love, when you truly, and this is a consciousness. People who have never heard Jesus have an understanding of unconditional love. And they can walk in peace. They can walk in unity. This has less to do about religion and more to do about thought, will, and action. All right? Unconditional love is love without condition. You know, I can't think of an instance, and I'll use me and my wife for an example. Of course, my wife could hurt me, but I can't think of a condition where I would stop loving her. Yes, things would change, but my love for her, it's unconditional. My love for her comes from the Most High God. And this is the reason why we make a covenant, a sacrament, and a ritual, committing ourselves to the consciousness of love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, together we both shall live. And what God has brought together, let nothing put asunder or tear it apart. There is no condition. Even if we're not together, we're still together. Because there's a connection here of no conditions. I posit to you, beloved, that a lot of us think that we are operating in unconditional love, but we really have conditions. We really put conditions on love. And this is not the consciousness of Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. I think we all know it. Anybody that's been raised in the church, we know this. Excuse me, indigestion. We know this. For God so loved the world that he gave. That's a true statement. Because love motivates you to give. Love is a verb, it's not a noun. It's an action word. It motivates you to do something. There must be fruit to bear witness to what you say out of your mouth. So love is a verb. Okay? So for God so loved the world that he gave. That is true. But remember what I said. The best way to deceive a people is to wrap something in truth. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That sounds like a condition. That sounds like a condition, beloved. Because why would the Most High God place a condition on unconditional love? Is a contradiction. It's a contradiction. And what they have done, the authors, the architects of this matrix, they have created a system of belief. They have incepted an idea that I am unworthy of God's love unless I call on an external God that they named, that they put an image to, that they renamed. Okay? That they renamed. His name ain't Jesus, it's Yeshua. Go back to my previous video last week. I explained that. His name is not Jesus. Jesus was crafted from pagan names. They mixed stuff together and rebranded something and put a European face on it. And told you to worship this image of a God that they created because they know our law. They know us. They know that we come from a one God people. They know that we come from a God, from a system of belief where we don't bow before idols. Only God is God. And God dwells within all of us. And that we carry sparks of the eternal source within us. This is ancient knowledge that is coming back, beloved. It's reemerging. The universal one consciousness is coming back. They have incepted an idea that we need to externalize the power that God has already placed within us. Children, don't they naturally gravitate towards love? Don't children naturally try to do what makes them feel loved and accepted? Do they not gravitate towards this? It is already in us to love. It's because we come from the Most High God that is unconditional love. So why on earth would I believe that I am unworthy of God's love and that I must accept a condition in order to be loved by the Most High God? They incepted an idea. They incepted an idea into our subconscious and taught us to have an emotional, loving connection to. They taught us to fall in love with our self-loathing unworthiness of God's love. This is what they did. They made us feel guilty and shamed and that I want to be loved. I want God's love. And I want to accept this deity in my life so that I can receive God's love. But people who live all across the world may not know who Jesus is, but they know what this is. They know what it is. They know what it is before language is placed to it to describe what it is. I have asked people this time and time before. When did it become a requirement to believe in Jesus in order to be saved from hell? Most people would say when he was on the cross and said, "It is finished." Well, at that time, let's just use logic, beloved. At that time, all of the continents were populated with people. So people who were all across on the other side of the world were now expected to accept a condition of love to be saved from hell. People who were expected to accept a condition that they didn't even know was a condition. Is this just? Does this sound like the consciousness of God? Because we know that God is just. We know that God is fair. We know that God is unconditional love. We know that God is grace. We know that God is peace and patience. We know this about the Most High God. So why would God create a condition that everybody wouldn't be aware of at the same time? Man who desires above all else to have power incepted an idea that we need to externalize our belief into a deity that they created to accept love from the Most High God. And I'm here to tell you, beloved, love is here. Love is here. It's presently present just like the Most High God. You good? Why don't you go get that over? Go ahead. Go ahead and get it. Okay. So the thing that I want you to draw from this, beloved, is that the highest form of manipulation is to allow somebody to incept your mind with an idea that did not come from you. This did not come from us. This did not come from us. This whole, and I said this in the last video. The Jews do not have a concept of eternal damnation. They do not. The Jews do not have a concept of eternal damnation. So if Jesus was a Jew, where did it come from? The Jews do not have a concept of original sin. Think about this. We came up in church believing that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. This is what they beat into our heads before we could count, before we could say our ABCs. We were taught that we needed to believe in this deity in order to be loved. And God loves us regardless. Because God is eternal. Love has always been here. It will always be here. If human beings die out tomorrow and another species rise up, they too will come into the understanding of unconditional love. It's eternal. It's always been here. It will always be here. So what has happened, beloved, and I really want you to grasp this. Christ consciousness is tapping into the energy that is within you. We are all gods of the Most High God. We have power. We have the ability to speak things into existence. We have the ability to draw things to us with our mind. We have the ability to walk in oneness with one another. And then when we walk in oneness with one another, our power amplifies. Because being in the image of God for real is walking in oneness. Because God is the sum of all creation and all existence put together. So when we come together, we come into the image and likeness of God. And everything is repeating, beloved. Everything that we see, everything, time isn't in a straight line. Everything is repeating. Everything is repeating. Everything is repeating. And what came in the form of a man is now coming back in a collective consciousness. This is the return. The Christ consciousness is the second coming. Apocalypse means the great revealing. Okay? We're already in it. The great revealing is already here. And now we have access to information. We have the access to reach back and see what they have done to us. Beloved, I said this in the last video and I'll say it again. I don't care what you call God. Neither does God. Just be sincere and know that it's just an externalization of something that is already within you. Sometimes we as human beings, we externalize things that are within our psyche so that we can see it and make sense of it. All right? But whatever name you call God, don't let that stop you from walking in unconditional love with your neighbor. Because everyone bears this consciousness. They may not know Jesus, but they know what this is. It is our responsibility as people of the Most High God to walk in oneness, to walk in unity, to walk in unconditional love. Until next time, beloved, if you got something from this, God bless you. Thank you for watching. Until next time, God's peace be upon you always.